Number 10 on 5.4, or at least a variation of it. And I had a question about once you get the x-intercept, just the fraction, just a little bit of fraction review to try to get down to this next not that nice number. So let me just kind of walk through the whole problem because it's a good example, other than the numbers come a little ugly, but it's a good example of kind of seeing all the different bits and pieces of parabola here. So we're given this function and asked to graph it, find the vertex, axis of symmetry, and then the intercepts. So over here I did vertex first, so I'm using negative b over 2a, and so there's negative 5 over 2, so that made that 5 halves. And then remember to find the y-coordinate, we just plug the whatever this is back in, sucks when it's a 5 halves. So here I am finding f of 5 halves, and that's just getting evaluated in that original function. Squared right here, this gives me that 25 fourths. 5 times 5 for 25 right there, and then plus 4. And then on this line, I saw I had fourths, halves, and then this would be like over 1. So my LCD was going to be 4. And so I brought all my denominators up to 4 right here. So you can see I did this and got 50 over 4. And then this would be 16 over 4. And now that everything is in fourths, I can say 25 and 16 for 41 minus 50. And that's how I got that 9 fourths. So that was my vertex. And again, if this had come up like 1, all this would have been easy. You would have dropped a 1 in there and it really wouldn't have been a big deal. But because it came up a fraction, fractions makes stuff harder. It just kind of is what it is. Axis of symmetry, remember that always matches the x-coordinate of the vertex because that's like the fold line. If we thought of folding the parabola over on top of itself, it's the line it would fold about. On this particular one, it has x equals in front of the box, so you get to just type 5 halves. Remember, there are those other ones that just say axis of symmetry without that, and in that case, you do need to type an equation, which would be x equals 5 halves, like I have written out here. And that's just because I'm using a couple of different textbooks for this class, because this class spans a couple of different classes, and some of them have different answer entry than others, unfortunately. For our y-intercept, we love y-intercepts. They're super, usually not bad. We just let x equals 0, so 0 here, and that leaves us at 4. So for a y-intercept, we're letting x equal 0, and then to do the x-intercept, we're going to let y equals 0. And so that's often going to be factoring. Hopefully it factors. It could be that you have to do quadratic formula there, and then you get a couple of really kind of ugly intercepts, but in this case we just needed two numbers and multiplied to 4 and added to be negative 5. So negative 1, negative 4 for the factors. And then remember, zeros have the opposite side of the factors because what would make the zero is positive 1, likewise 4 here. And then beware this little thing here, enter your intercepts lowest to highest, so I want to make sure I had 1, 0 here and then 4, 0 here is what this is saying. So now, after I did all that talking, let's see if I can actually get this thing graph right. So this is going to be 5 halves. Sorry, my cat is attacking my printer. Cat, stop. Okay, so we got 5 halves, so let's do that. So that'd be about there. And then negative 9 fourths would be negative 2 1/4. So 2 1/4 should be about, let's say, put it about there. And then I'm going to do the y-intercept up here, and then that should confirm my x-intercepts. And if you look at where that ended up crossing, there's the 1, 0, and there's the 4, 0. I like to grab a point a little bit farther away just because it makes it easier to be accurate, essentially, than one closer to my first point. And so that should be it. Let's see if I submit it. Doesn't mark my graph right. Yeah, I got the graph right. I didn't enter the rest. But so anyhow, there's a little overview of how you do that with the fractions and just kind of the other steps as well. Hopefully that helps.